Hey, this is for October 27th. I'm actually filming this the night before just because things are super busy and I'm going to be on call starting at 6 a.m. And I didn't really want to risk anything kind of going south starting at the beginning of the day and kind of pushing things along. But yeah, it's a super busy time for me with respect to work and other things going on even outside of work. But work is, I mentioned this in the last update, it's just like a perfect storm of things going on. So, just to kind of touch on that for some context, we have what's like our planning season is kind of upon us, and a lot of that stuff in terms of like the next like almost half a year essentially, we have plans we have to put in place, and that's all due like next week. And it's very, in my opinion, from any time I can recall doing this at Microsoft, it's very early for us to do this. Um, it kind of feels like we're doing it what it's call it right at this at end of October, right? So we have another 2 months in the year where we're not building on those plans. We're kind of just getting them approved, and that feels it feels odd to me. It feels too early. Um, I'm personally like a big believer in just trying to be as agile as possible, and I get that with the size of the company and in the space I'm in, like there's a lot of teams. We want to make sure we're aligned. So doing some work up front is helpful, but like man, it just seems like it's way too early and it's a lot. Like I have two teams that I have to do this for, and I was on vacation and um when did I do my last? I had COVID. So I think I mentioned that in the last update. So I had COVID. I've just tested positive or just tested negative for the first time today. So that's been good. I was trying to say that's been positive, but you get it. And yeah, so like I missed a bunch of the actual planning time, which is unfortunate. I don't like being in that kind of position, but it's like where I used to work, it would have been like we just adjust and kind of we don't have to worry about 6 months ahead of time. And this is like, there's a there's a deadline and that's it for the whole org that I'm in. So that's one thing. The other thing though is that we have it's not a performance review, but they're like career alignment conversations that we do, and those are all due at the end of next week. So these two things overlap exactly. And as an engineering manager, these are like the two, I don't know, like most important things, I guess. Like the career conversations on the people side of things is huge. And then going into planning and making sure that like our strategy and stuff is aligned, our commitments are sensible. Like that's the other huge part of what I do. So these two things are perfectly aligned. I'm also going on call. So I've been back up on call and I'm going to be primary tomorrow and over the weekend. Like that is pure chaos. I have my entire normal part of my job on top of that. And then we have a couple of things like documents and stuff, like collaborative documents we're putting together. It's nuts. And yeah, it's overwhelming. So actually one thing I wanted to briefly talk about is like my style for doing these career conversations. We have like a form that gets filled out and then we have conversations about it, and I generally like the structure. I think it's useful. But on top of that, something that I personally like to do is we have these talent guides. It's a rubric, and for me personally, and the feedback that I've gotten from my team is that people really like going through that. Like they like having the conversation about the rubric to see if we're aligned on where they're at and what they should be focused on. And I personally feel like that's been the most valuable tool, and the feedback I've gotten has been that that is extremely valuable. In some cases, more than the official like sort of template itself. This rubric is official. It's just that this template that they put us through is the thing to be using at this point in time. So I'm in a position where like that talent guide, that rubric is a ton of extra effort for me. Like it takes like hours per person, and I have 11 people I think I counted the other day that directly report to me. So like I don't have time to put that all together by the end of next week, and for me that's extremely unfortunate. So I'm having to kind of tell people on my team, look, like that thing that you find really valuable that I think is valuable, I can't do it. But it's not that I'm not going to do it, it's just that I can't do it at the time I want. So I'm going to do it before the end of the year so that I can get these other commitments in because they have a hard deadline. I just feel really bad about that whole situation. It's like it's not letting me lead how I feel like I lead effectively. So I'm not happy about it. But that's mostly work. We got my wife and I are going to be going to a concert this weekend, which is exciting, and it's Halloween themed. So we're going to be skeletons, and we got these really cool masks. So here's mine. I don't even know. Can I? I don't know if yeah, the mic's definitely picking it up, but here's what it looks like. It's pretty cool. It's got different modes and stuff. So it flashes really fast. And then I have a whole like skeleton outfit on top of that. So that'll be pretty cool. And the skeleton outfit glows in the dark. I'm not gonna put that on for you for the video because it's like a spandex kind of thing. It's a little much. The mask, I thought I'd show that because it's pretty cool. But yeah, so we're going to a concert tomorrow night. Um, which means my like newsletter prep and everything that I usually do on my Fridays, like it's all getting pushed. And like I mentioned, because I'm on call, I'm in this position where like I don't want to risk like things running over. Um, the on call thing really throws it off, and especially because it's on call starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. So if I'm up late, it's no good because I have to be up early. Really, it's a bad recipe for falling behind on things. So if you take that and you consider the fact that then I go into another busy week, like next week is going to be the busiest week, um, I'm going to be exhausted at the end of next week. I'm sure my update's not going to be too pleasant, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's work. That's what we got going on this weekend. And then we got some other Halloween stuff for, like, is it Tuesday, I think? Whenever actual Halloween is. So we're going to be shelling out candy and made sure to get some decorations and stuff. So we have projectors that aim at the windows with um the like sort of rear projection sheets that have like zombies and stuff, and I don't know, I'm pretty excited for that. Last year we didn't have too much for decorations, and I think it was raining, we didn't have many kids, kind of a crappy Halloween. Okay, what else we got going on? Meal coach stuff, not a lot of movement there. My engineering, like my other engineering partner and I are gonna probably need to resync. We, if you've been following along with the updates, the sort of the most recent kind of push we've been doing is article writing and trying to do like SEO, so search engine optimization, and trying to get impressions from Google to start kind of casting that net to see if we can get people to the site to use it. And it's working in terms of impressions because we literally had 0 impressions on Google, and we went up and running for like it's almost, is it 2 years or something like that? Like 0 impressions. It's almost it seems almost impossible. But so we do have a lot of impressions now. Well, subjective. We have thousands of impressions, which is great. But the reality is it's not and we kind of figured this, it's not like directly converting into people registering. But what does convert is social media engagement. And we I think we saw this coming, but we wanted to kind of do the experiment. But we're now that we have content, like we gotta shift gears into being more active about actually doing reach out. And we're both not good at it. And I've made a video like this before, right, where I've been saying like, yeah, we're gonna have to do it, but like I think we're out of options to try like pushing it off, and it has to happen. So one of the unfortunate things is because I had COVID, I could not meet up with the bodybuilder at the gym I go to, one of the IFBB pros, to talk more about the usage of it. But he had reached out to me like when I think I had just come back from vacation or was about to, and he's like, "Hey, I'm ready to sit down and talk again." So um, the way that he framed the message was like kind of like, "I'm sorry for the feedback I'm gonna have to give you, but like." I don't think he realizes that we genuinely don't care if it's positive or negative. Like, it's not going to hurt our feelings. Um, it's like we just need to know what you want to see to make it useful for you. Like, if it's on the right track, cool. If it's not, or it's missing things, or something's broken, we don't care. Just tell us so we can, do the right thing. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be helpful. But I don't want to just I don't want to just rely on that conversation. We have to continue to push, and it's uncomfortable. That's the best way to phrase it. It's totally uncomfortable. I think I've said on one of my early vlogs where I talked about like how uncomfortable this is. The thing I equate it to is like, and this might not, I don't know, it might not make sense for some people. But I think back to like, okay, if I were in high school and I had to ask the prettiest girl in high school to go to prom, like I would be terrified. And that's actually how it feels when I have to approach anyone to talk about Meal Coach. And I'm not even asking them for money, right? It's bonkers. It just makes me so uncomfortable to ask, but I have to get over it. So that's the Meal Coach stuff. I think the dev leader front, yeah, it's busy. So like I said, I'm doing this video the night before that I normally do it. Um, I'm checking the time. I'm probably going to go to bed in another hour or so. So I'm probably going to try to record two more videos. The one video for sure is the one that I want to put out on Monday, but it's also going to go out with the newsletter. So depending on when you're watching this, it might be, you might be seeing this after it's out or whatever. But what I'm trying to do with the newsletter, when it makes sense, I don't want to commit to this every time, but if I can, the Monday video or something in the future, I want to be able to have like a bit of a preview. So if you're on the newsletter, you'll have the link to an unlisted video that's on YouTube. So just a little perk for being on the newsletter, you get early access. It's kind of funny because if you're watching this, you're on a membership already to the site, and the newsletter's free. So you already are aware of this, but that's kind of a new thing that I wanted to start doing. I rolled out, I think the last issue of the newsletter was the first one that had the referral program built in. So I'm using Sparkloop for that. I use ConvertKit for my newsletters, but Sparkloop is the thing that's going to help with like it has a built-in referral system. So you watching this, if you wanted to extend your membership, right? Because it costs currently it's $5 a month. So if you're like, I don't want to pay that or I want to subsidize it, whatever, if you can get newsletter referrals, those are going to translate into free months. So I'll be giving out coupon codes. I have that set up to be manual just because I haven't I haven't seen it the automatic way, like end to end, and it makes me nervous. I would hate so much if someone got the referrals and then the reward just didn't work. But if I can give them a coupon code manually, because especially in the beginning, it's not going to be like hundreds of people getting this. I want to make sure that I can do it right, that it works, and if something doesn't work, that I can handle it and be hands on. So that's the plan. But got that enabled. Another thing about Sparkloop, well, I don't think it's Sparkloop necessarily. Maybe it is between Sparkloop and ConvertKit. Um, on the paid for plans, which I've switched over to, one of the perks, I guess, is that I'm calling it a perk. I was on the free plan. This is so weird. I was on the free plan for ConvertKit, and you get up to 1,000 newsletter subscribers, and I'm not at that limit yet. And the paid for plan actually has a lower limit of free subscribers to your newsletter. And it doesn't make any sense to me, like, why they would do that. Like, so I'm at the point where, like, the not only am I paying for ConvertKit and it was free, but I'm at the point where it's about to just start costing me more money as people subscribe. And I'm like, why am I doing this? But I'm doing this because it gives me the Sparkloop thing, which is the newsletter referrals. Anyway, that might sound confusing, but one of the other benefits of ConvertKit is that, and part maybe Sparkloop, is that they have like a network, right? So I can actually, in my flyouts on my blog and stuff, yeah, it's two parts. ConvertKit for the blog flyouts, I can actually have um, other creators get offered up there. And if people, so if you're on my blog and you see someone else being recommended, if you subscribe to their newsletter, I can get a kickback from that. It's kind of like being an affiliate. And then the other thing is that once you subscribe, I think it's Sparkloop that puts up another potential form that says, hey, like if you like that newsletter, you might like these other ones. And again, it's another opportunity where if you subscribe, and I hope they're interesting. I think I picked for recommendations on Sparkloop, I picked AI newsletters. I know AI is a huge hot topic. I figure a lot of people developing software probably have some interest at in some level, just staying up to date with it. So those will get recommended. But the point of me mentioning this is because I've talked about like running ads on my blog. I hate running ads, but like it's the lowest for me. It's a lowest barrier to just have some passive income get covered. Um, like the ad, just for context, the ad revenue that I get from my blog would not even cover like half of the ConvertKit cost that I just turned on. It's nothing, right? So I'm still spending money out of my pocket to like try and scale this and offer a good experience. And I don't feel like I feel terrible because I don't think ads um I think they really detract from the user experience on the website, and I personally hate that. So I would love to be in a position where these memberships, other passive streams, like having people subscribe to other newsletters and stuff like that, or my affiliate links, like those are offering enough. And then the ad revenue kind of feels like it's peanuts almost. And then I would be in a better position where I can turn it off. It improves the user experience, and the small, like air quotes, small amount of money that I'm losing from ad revenue is kind of negligible. But it's like one of the only things driving revenue right now. So I do apologize. Um, I think that's probably for the newsletter, and I'm trying to put articles into the newsletter as well. So my nose is getting stuffy. Again, it's not something I think I can promise every time, and that's because for both a video and an article, I now have to write an extra blog on top of the newsletter. So I'm doing double duty, and then the video itself is something that would normally be going out on the Monday. And instead of recording it Saturday or Sunday, I have to front load it. So I can't promise it's going to happen every time, but I would like to try and do that because I think it adds value to the newsletter. So, and that is the plan. I think that's it though. That's my spiel. Probably the last thing to mention, just because it's going to become more and more apparent on my vlogs like this. So I was out from the gym because we were on our honeymoon and then came back and had COVID. So tonight was the first night back, absolutely brutal. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because starting in December, so in just over a month, about a month and a week, so 5 weeks, I will be starting a bodybuilding prep. And I'll be kind of going from my heaviest about 16 weeks out from a bodybuilding show. And in that 16-week period, I don't know what I weigh right this moment. Before honeymoon, I was about 190 pounds. I'm 5'4", so it's a little bit for being this short. I actually think I lost weight because of COVID, so call it 180 to 185. Let's say I'm 185 right now. I'm gonna have to lose probably 35 to 40 pounds in 16 weeks, which is gonna be nuts. Done it before, it's doable. It doesn't feel good. In fact, it feels terrible, but it's to reach a goal in April, and then I'm gonna try to do two shows. So one at the beginning of April and one at the end. And the reason I wanted to mention this, and I'll periodically bring it up, is because I think it'll be really neat because when I look back on times where my weights fluctuated a lot, because it does for bodybuilding, I've been up to just over 200 pounds. I've been down, like back down to 150 pounds. It's a 50-pound fluctuation. It's a lot when you're for anyone. And I guess when you're this short, it's a lot more too. But when I look back on the pictures and stuff, you don't like, it's really bizarre. You don't like realize it while you're going through. Like, sure, you can see parts of your body changing and stuff. Like I can see my abs come in. I don't usually walk around with abs. Um, but it's weird because you just don't really notice it visually. Um, where you do notice it is when you look back on pictures and like you look at your face. It's insane. And because you are watching this on a camera pointed at my face, I think it'll be very interesting for you to see that transition because it'll really stand out. Um, Especially if you jump like from the beginning of December until something like close to April, it'll be very noticeable. So that's the other part going on in my life. It won't be too exciting until December, but I am ridiculously sore right now from my first workout back. So that's that. Thank you so much for your, wow. Well, let me try that again. Thank you so much for your support. I do appreciate it. And yeah, we'll have more of these and we'll see my face go and get sucked in. So thanks, and we'll see you next time.